What are the best investments of 2021? Let's find out. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Somewhat Scholarly. My name is Alan Hibbard, and today I want to walk you through what I think are the best investments of 2021. And I'm not just pumping random things that I don't actually own myself. I'm going to show you my exact portfolio. I'm going to show you every asset that I have, and I'm also going to tell you which assets I don't have and the reasons for both. So let's start. What is the number one asset that I have in my portfolio? Bitcoin. 63% of my portfolio is Bitcoin as of today, right? The last day of 2020. What is the second largest investment that I have? Number two is gold. So let me talk about these two very quickly. I think Bitcoin is digital gold. If you guys have been following the channel, you know why. Basically, they're hard to produce, they're scarce, they have all the properties of money, portable, durable, divisible, and so on. They're also decentralized, no one can control them, and they're really hard for third parties to take from you, either physically or digitally or via inflation, right? You can't inflate these away. So these are the primary two components of my portfolio to anchor my wealth. And really, I don't consider these investments, I consider them savings vehicles. So actually right now, the way I position myself is not so much as an investor or a speculator, but as a saver. This is like such an important mindset shift. So that's the starting point. What about the number three investment? Let's see. Number three is silver. And it's actually not the third largest by size, but I'll revisit that in a second. So why do I have 5% of my portfolio in silver? Well, basically, it's to complement gold, right? They say that gold is for after a crisis and silver is for during a crisis. It's a lot more lightweight, it's a lot more portable, it's easy to barter. And I'm thinking in case there's a problem with Bitcoin and other digital assets, I want something physical that I can trade with someone that doesn't require the internet and electricity and so forth. So I do have a fair amount of silver, and that's in case we have some kind of power outage or other catastrophe, and I need something physical. Number four. The fourth investment I want to talk about is Litecoin. It's basically, in my mind, a version of digital silver. So I have Litecoin for a lot of the same reasons I have silver, except there is one huge difference. Litecoin is probably the one part of my portfolio that I consider to be most speculative. In other words, the main reason I have it is to buy low, sell high. That's the main reason I have it. And Litecoin is not necessarily something I want to have in the long term, unlike these other parts of my portfolio where I always want to have physical gold, physical silver, and some Bitcoin. And I want them not only to protect my portfolio and prevent me from losing wealth, but also to be able to survive, right? In order to be able to exchange these things for goods and services, at any point in the future throughout the rest of my life. Litecoin, that's not necessarily the case. While I could use it for that means, the main reason I have it is actually speculative. Historically, in the largest bull markets of gold and silver, silver outperforms gold measured in dollars, right? The price goes up more. I'm thinking that Litecoin is probably going to go up in price more than Bitcoin. And I actually think it has the potential to go up more in price than anything I'm holding in the current bull market. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right, we'll see. But my intention with Litecoin is to sell it for a profit measured in dollars and then use those dollars to buy more of these other things that I actually want. So we'll see if that happens or not, but that's the main reason that I have Litecoin. What is investment number five? My fifth investment is Ethereum, making up 13% of my portfolio. So it's actually my third largest position. And why is it so large? Well, a couple reasons. One, I'd like to be able to experiment with Ethereum and all of the amazing things that it can do. And I'm not doing that right now, but I've done it a little bit in the past, and I know that I will want to do it again in the future. I think the Ethereum blockchain is here to stay. And I have no idea how much ETH tokens should be worth in the future. I have no idea how much they'll go up in price. I suspect they will go up considerably, measured in dollars. But if they don't, or if they don't go up very much, or if they go down, I can still use them to play around with smart contracts. I can still use that as an investment in my own education. So Ethereum, I actually consider to be an investment. So the worst case scenario, well, I guess there's even worse than what I'm about to say, but a pretty bad case scenario is I just use my ETH tokens to play around and learn, right? I learn about programming, smart contracts, different kind of decentralized applications, and so forth. Obviously, it could be worse than that. Like the network itself could somehow shut down, or we have some EMP, electromagnetic pulse, where we lose electricity and we can't do that stuff. So that, of course, is a even worse scenario. But I think among the realistic bad scenarios, I could just use the ETH tokens to learn about Ethereum and smart contracts and so forth. So this I actually consider to be an investment. And like I said, Litecoin is speculation, and the rest of my portfolio is savings. But there's one other thing that I'm holding, and it's something I hate. Dirty, dirty fiat. A tiny fraction of my portfolio, less than 0.1%, is US dollars. I mean, this is a tiny, tiny sliver. When I make a chart in Excel, you can't even see it. It's so thin. It's not even there, and that's why I didn't draw it up here. So, like it or not, I live in the United States. I've got to use US dollars. I've got to pay rent in dollars. I got to buy groceries in dollars, and so forth. So I do have a very small amount of dollars. And actually what I do every month, because I'm not currently working, is I sell a tiny bit of one of these other things into dollars so that I can, pay rent and so forth. So like it or not, I do have a small amount of dollars, but I'm not happy about it. If I could, I'd get off of fiat completely because it is absolutely terrible. So what are some things that I don't have? Well, on the theme of cryptocurrencies, I should mention that I don't have XRP, and I haven't for several years. And if you want to know why, you can watch my video, Top 10 Reasons I Don't Invest in XRP. And the recent lawsuit or complaint filed by the SEC against Ripple is just one subset of one of the examples that I gave. Anytime you have a centralized coin with a CEO, right, a company, a headquarters, an office that can be invaded or, sent letters, you have a risk of regulatory crackdown, whether it's legitimate or not. I personally do not think that XRP is a security. I don't think XRP is a security, and I've been pretty consistent on that view ever since I researched what XRP is. However, it doesn't matter. It's not going to stop the regulatory agencies from filing those complaints, making life difficult for the CEO, the founders, the company itself. When you have a centralized company, you run that risk. You have all these idiosyncratic risks that are very hard to factor into the price. Unlike decentralized investments like Bitcoin, gold, and silver, which have no headquarters, which have no company, there's nowhere to send a letter, there's nowhere to file a lawsuit, these do not suffer from idiosyncratic risk. They only suffer from systemic risk, meaning the whole system would have to collapse in order for these things to have a problem. So generally speaking, they're very safe. That's part of what makes them a store of value, and that's a huge reason why I own them. Because right now, I just want to preserve my value. I'm not trying to, double it. Although, ironically, since all of these stores of values have been so unloved over the years and have been so ignored, particularly gold and silver, and Bitcoin obviously is a new asset class that's growing up. Since they've been so unloved, since they've been so ignored, since they're so young, they have an incredible upside potential for people to discover them and decide that they want them too. And that's actually what causes their value to go up so tremendously measured in dollars, because so many people will flock to these assets and realize they don't want to lose their value either. And so if you're one of the first ones into these types of investments, you can benefit from selling out, if that's your objective, to the people who come in later. So what else don't I have? Well, you'll notice that I don't have any stocks or bonds or real estate. Why is that? Well, ultimately, I would like to own stocks and I would like to own real estate, but I don't own any stocks right now because I think that generally speaking, the market as a whole, like the US stock market and maybe foreign markets. I'm not sure about foreign markets, but definitely the US stock market is completely overvalued. It has been for years. Of course, there are individual stocks that might be an exception, but I don't have the time or the interest to try to figure out which ones those are. So if I were to invest in stocks right now, it would probably be in the S&P 500 as a broad index, but I think it's so overvalued, I would never put my money in there right now. Similarly, bonds have been enjoying a 30 or 40-year bull market, and there is no way I would be loaning my money to other people right now. The credit risk is way too high. The risk of inflation is a certainty. You're guaranteed to lose money in dollars. So I wouldn't have any bonds right now. I wouldn't lend to anybody. The U.S. government, corporations, nobody. And what about real estate? Well, ultimately, I do want to own real estate, but I'm just not sure where. I'm not sure what type of property. Right now, I live in an apartment. I would like to buy a house, but my plan is to stay in these assets until they go up a tremendous amount measured in dollars. And real estate, in the meantime, will probably go up measured in dollars, but a much smaller amount. So what I do is I think of the price of real estate measured in ounces of gold, or measured in ounces of silver, or measured in numbers of Bitcoin. Although the price of a house might go up measured in dollars, it's going down measured in how many ounces of gold you would need to buy a house. And it's also going down even faster measured in how many Bitcoins you would need to buy a house. So just by being patient, houses are actually getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper measured in the types of money that I prefer to hold. So just by being patient, I'll be able to buy real estate a lot cheaper in the future than I could today. So guys, how much do I think these things will go up in price? Well, that's really hard to say, but based on their current valuations, and by the way, today is the last day of 2020, so so you guys could easily look up the price of these things. How much do I think these will go up in price? Well, in the coming year, in 2021, I think Bitcoin has the potential to do approximately 10x. I would put that at the high end. I think 5x at the low and 10x at the high, approximately. What do I think about gold? Well, gold is currently trading at about $1,900. Its bull markets move much more slowly than Bitcoin's, but with the same shape. So I think gold will enjoy a 5-year bull market, but in 2021, it might only double in price, which would still be incredible, still be awesome, but it is a much more long-term play than Bitcoin is. Silver. Right now, silver's trading at about $26 an ounce. I would not be surprised if it doubles. That seems like a low estimate for 2021. It could triple or more. And again, just like gold, it enjoys longer bull markets than Bitcoin or Litecoin. But the potential gains are pretty enormous. So for 2021, I expect silver to double or triple, but of course, anything's possible. Litecoin. Litecoin is currently trading at about $125 per coin, which is significantly below its all-time high of about 300. Whereas Bitcoin, of course, has already surpassed its previous all-time high and is establishing new ones almost on a daily basis. So I think Litecoin has the potential to outperform Bitcoin on a percentage basis, but I actually don't think it will. If I have to bet on the most likely outcome, I think Litecoin will underperform Bitcoin in 2021, but part of the reason I have it, and the part of the reason it is only 4%, is because it has the potential to outperform Bitcoin. Again, I don't think it will, but I have it just in case. Ethereum. Ethereum is currently trading around $734 per coin, which is a pretty decent chunk below its all-time high of something over 1,000, 1,100 maybe, if I remember correctly. So I think it will easily surpass its previous all-time high in 2021, but how much higher will it go? I have no idea. I haven't really studied the price charts. I don't even remember its previous all-time high. I have no idea how high it will go. And as I mentioned, if it doesn't go up a lot in price measured in dollars, I'll just use it for my own educational purposes, almost as like the tuition cost in the school of life. Because I'm very interested in smart contracts. I'm very interested in all the things that can be done on the Ethereum blockchain. And if the dollar price of Ethereum isn't desirable for me to sell, I'll just use the tokens. So that's sort of my exit strategy for Ethereum, and that's why I consider that an investment. It's an investment in myself, and you can't put a price on that. Last but not least, US dollars. this tiny little sliver of my portfolio. Well, how well do I think it'll do in 2021? Well, obviously a dollar is just a dollar. It's not going to go anywhere. It's going to be perfectly flat, guaranteed, measured in dollars. However, I think all these other things will go up measured in dollars, which is why I want them. So yeah, I mean, obviously, if you considered like one Bitcoin to be one Bitcoin, anything that underperforms will be worth a smaller amount of Bitcoins, and that includes the US dollar. The US dollar is going to lose value measured against all these other things just by staying flat, measured in dollars. So one other thing that's really important to think about is that 2021 could be the year that the Federal Reserve or some portion of the US government introduces a digital dollar. And while I think it would be slightly too soon, it is possible. I do think it's coming in the next 4 years, let's say, where a digital dollar is introduced, a central bank digital currency, and I suspect there's a very high likelihood that they revalue the dollar when they do it. So in other words, they don't create a digital dollar that's 1-to-1 relative to our current dollars. They might do something that's 5-to-1 or 10-to-1 or something like that. My guess is they would give people a lot more than they currently have. So if you have $100 in your bank account, they would give you 500 digital dollars because it will seem to you like you're getting more, right? Like you're getting more stuff. Number goes up, right? It will feel like you're getting richer, but really what they'll be doing is they'll be siphoning off a whole bunch of these new dollars to, special interest groups and so forth, enriching them even more and impoverishing the average Joe as a result. So that's a guess about what they're going to do. Of course, they could just do a 1-to-1 dollar, but I think there's a very high likelihood it's a perfect opportunity for them to do some type of multiple to make people feel like they're getting richer while actually taking away a lot of their value and extracting it to other people. So guys, those are my best investments for 2021. Obviously, this is just my opinion. I'm not a financial advisor. I can't give financial advice. So you got to do your own research. You got to study. You got to learn. You got to analyze. And tell me what you think. What are your favorite investments for 2021 and why do you like them? Let me know in the comments. Thanks a lot, guys. Make sure you subscribe and I'll see you in the next video.